So 20 minutes we have got to support you to support the needs of your children. I've looked at quite a bit of research this week and over the last few weeks, looking at education consultants within SMART and kind of looking at gauging their perception. And I think everyone is saying from a local level as well as a government and ministry level that supporting the social and emotional needs of our pupils is going to be so key. One of the lines that I always used to say to parents and to anybody who questions that the children within my classroom have got to feel happy. They've got to feel happy and safe. It's like a hierarchy of needs. They've got to feel happy. They've got to feel safe. When they're there, they're ready to learn. And then they will almost pick up learning from themselves, from their peers, from myself, from whatever stimulus they're having. They're ready to learn. But if they're not happy and they're not feeling safe, then there's so much fuzz within their brains that essentially there's almost-ish no point in teaching them something, because that is fundamental to it. And as we are coming back into school, finishing for school, coming back in September, or whether that's distance learning or continued, or whether we are actually back in our bubbles, I think that social and emotional needs of our children is going to be massive, having not been around peers, not been around that social interaction in the same way for almost 6 months. That supporting those needs will possibly be equal to curriculum. We're getting that right and then building on top of it as well. So with that in mind, there's also a kind of a chat box. I can see some of you already entered in that, so that's great. If you just change to all panelists and all attendees, then we can all be sharing of that conversation as well, and support each other for that. There are a few people monitoring the chat box as well, but feel free to put it in there and I'll kind of do those. If it's not answered, we're gonna have a Q&A at the end. And if it's still somehow missed, apologies, and email me afterwards as well, which is kind of a segue to my email address. It's just markhartwright@smarttech.com, or I am on Twitter if you want to kind of reach out to me in that way as well, for that as well. So I am Mark Hartwright. If you haven't joined us before, welcome. Thank you for joining this week. I'm a professional development specialist here in the UK. Coming from my teaching background, I want to support you. I've seen the difference it made to my children. I want to support you to make the difference for your children as well, or students or learners, whatever you wish to call them. So this is a starting point, a quick snippet into that, before you continue it elsewhere, or we continue this series on as well, or back on YouTube, because they're all on there. So understand how SMART solution can be used to address the social and emotional needs of the learners. It's just one part of it. There's loads and loads of stuff that we can do, some with tech, some without tech, but I just wanted to give you an insight of how it possibly could be used for it today. As I said, one piece of research I've been looking at here, from Cassell with the organization, looking at the social emotional needs can be split up into these different sections, whether it's self-management, self-awareness, social awareness, relationship skills, responsible decision-making, and that sits within the classroom, and then that can sit within schools or the wider community as well, but very much at the heart of that SLE at the middle of it as well. So how can SMART address those? How can we look at those? So with this self-awareness, it's stimulating students. Yes, we've got a big shiny board here, and in a certain way, technology is a great stimulus, and then you can steer it and you can put the content on that you want, whether that's educational curriculum based, whether that's social emotional based, whatever it is, it's a great stimulus to get the children excited and be part of it as well. There's the activities up here, the activity builder. I think there's a picture of it there. Activity builder within that as well, within Notebook, whether it's an online device as well. Sending the students the lesson, so they're not just got the board in front, it's trying to give them every child a voice, taking your lesson here and giving it to them in front of them so they can be part of that learning as well with the SMART solution as well. Social awareness, so like I said, giving them a voice, that's getting them coming up at the board. This is a collaborative hub of the classroom where multiple children can come up and write their own things and interact in a very intuitive way. So let's keep it that way, where we keep together, better together right from the beginning of the lockdown situation, from that there. And also Shout It Out as a tool where students can type in an answer and send it up here. Even if they're slightly hesitant about something, I spoke to a colleague of mine looking at extroverts will be all bubbly and want to be more and more explosive because they might have been locked down for such a while. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, the introverts, maybe they've enjoyed this time because they could be introverts. So how can we tease those introverts, even tease them out of their shell, if you like? I'm not quite sure if that's the correct term. So that they can be part of it, and Shout It Out where children can send up their answers is great for something like that. The group work collaboration, whether it's sending, oops, that's my watch. That's group sending work to the board. They're working in different groups where you've got one part of the lesson over here, one part of there, or they're working together, but they're not necessarily on the same table, trying to respect that social distances wise, but the collaboration side of it would be key to that. What else have I got hidden here? I've touched on the feedback. So it's low risk activities. With the lab games, which we'll have a look in a bit, it's sending out a game that they can repeat and over again, something that they can just have a go with. There's that fear, if you like, that at the beginning is lost, where we can kind of support that, and it's repetitive to kind of go over and over again, so they can actually see these things. And engaging, keeping them focused, the kind of usual things that we really focus on in teaching, but just homed in a bit more. Right, I'm aware I've given quite a lot of waffle and not so many examples for this, so let's get you playing. Let's just start, not that lesson. Let's start this one up here. And if you can go to that class code, if anyone has joined, I'll just post that in the chat again. If you go to hellosmart.com, it'll ask you to join as a guest. From this here, join as a guest. And then it'll type in the code 50244, that is in the chat box, and then just pop in your name and you'll see this one up on here. I can see that 3 have joined already, so that's great. Caroline, HLTS, thank you very much. And Gorzia, excellent. So that's you joined there. Just for those that haven't joined, I'm going to open up a separate web browser just so you can see that kind of playing along side of things as well. So on your front, you'd go to, where's my keyboard? hellosmart.com, and then I'll just press enter on that one. So this side will be the student side, and this side would be the teacher side. So I just join as guest, type in the code, which was 50244, 50244. Click next, I type in a name, I'm just going to type in M for now. Brilliant. So this is, I'm going through the smart entrance now, through the smart, hellosmart.com. We are fully integrated with G Suite. So the fact that you can just launch these straight from your Google Classroom or straight from your G Drive. Microsoft Teams integration, it's part way there at the moment, and full integration where you can open it straight within Teams is coming in a few weeks. So have a look online and kind of search that out, and that'll be there as well. Yes, hello Hilda. I'd forgotten the link between your login and your name. So hi Hilda, thanks for you to join. So I can see that other people have joined on here as well. So that's the student one. So as I click on here, it's about giving the students the lesson. Here's my lesson on Smart Learning Suite Online, as opposed to the desktop version, which is Notebook, which I was just on before. And then that's the student's copy if they've got on device. It just works on any web browser. So whether that's an iPad, whether it's a Chromebook, whether it's a phone, whether it's a Kindle, whether it's a laptop, whether it's a desktop, whether they've got their own smart board, whatever it is, they can join in that way. So as I click on next, you can see that it's on there as well. So these ones I've already looked at, jumping down. This is a game here. So now I've got the game here. We can click full screen. I click start. You've also got that game as well. So something here, again, it puts the learning in front of the students. They can be engaged with this. They can be part of it. Here I've just used a lesson, for example, looking at nouns. Can you put these nouns back into the paragraph up here? So I've just taken this, copied and pasted it from an extract of Cinderella. There was wind, there was Cinderella, there was something. And you can see I've got instant feedback, instant praise that I'm getting these correct. I could just have a guess and put them on, oh no, it's not on that one. I can try another one. And then you can read it at the end. But each time they're getting a familiarity of the noun and trying to put those in the right place as well. Quick and easy to make and great to send out to your students. You can use this on the board or you can send out to students as well. This one here, I've just imported images. I copied and pasted this I downloaded from Google and put them in. And then they've got these images on here. So again, copy, paste in from Google or other search engines, and then put that on here. What I'm going to do with this, I'm actually going to change this to a collaborative workspace. So I clicked on the people at the top here, and then clicked on collaborative workspace. What this does is now I've got everyone joined together, and I can put you in different teams. I'm going to put everyone in the same team for this one. So now let's just bring that onto this side. So now this is the student's view and this is the teacher's view. We can all go together. So those that have joined and playing on the line, feel free to ink on this. So as a student here, I can just choose my inking options. I could add other images. I can put butterfly. Oops, not at the top. Butterfly on there. You can move the images around. You can add different nouns to it. But what nouns could we see in the wood here? And you can see that this one here is M. So you can see who has contributed to that one as well. Is anybody else going to ink on that at all, or not today? That's all right. But essentially, I'm giving this worksheet out to everybody where they can, there you go, someone was searching for pictures. So you can collaborate together with that. And we can see that this person here, and thanks for adding the troll. I'm just going to make it a little bit more the proper size and put him next to that one. Oh, somebody's moved the troll around, which is good. Fairy, thank you, Jarmex, for adding in that image of the flower. You've got mushrooms on here, so you're adding text. Thank you, Hilda. And Caroline's added the fact that that's a flower. So we're all now adding nouns. You have got that quick stimulus of a picture, but then you're adding nouns together. We're collaborating together. Even if you're not present, or even if you might be a little bit shy, you can start doing something. You can start adding something, or just search for gremlins. I'm just going to move us on because I'm on teacher pace at the moment. Based on this here, giving people a voice. This is a shout it out. This is one of the activities which is in Notebook as well as in Smart Learning Suite Online. Your version looks like this as a student, and my teacher one looks like this, where you've got your nouns, your adjectives, or a noun phrase if you want to describe that. So based on that previous picture there, can anybody think of any of the nouns on that, any of the adjectives based on that? Or if you want to go and put a noun phrase on that, you can. So as an example here, if you're not logged in, I'm going to just put flower. I'm going to steal somebody's already. If I can type up here. Brilliant. And what is that? That is a noun and send. And you can see that comes up in here. So we've got a grass, for example. Thank you for sending that one in. We've got a flower up on there as well. It's going to come this side so you can see those. Glass flower and another flower. And you can add those. Maybe I wanted flower to be an adjective and I thought it was incorrect. I can just drag and drop that there. There's also a bin at the top there. So I'm just going to bin mine because there's a duplicate of it. Beautiful, thank you very much. You've got fairy and they're organizing on there. Small, fantastic. So you've got a small fairy. The small fairy sat on the beautiful flower, and we could put that as a kind of our noun phrase in there. But you can see I've got different options for that, and I can see who has sent those in as well for that contribution. So we're all being part of this distance learning wise, or if we're sitting back at the classroom, we want to be sending something in, I can see who is contributing to each one of these. Actually, if I click on the people here, that's my list of the people that are sending that content in as well. So we've got those kind of examples from that there. Another way to use that shout out is, yes, I will just use that one there. So I'm just going to add in now a shout it out. So halfway through the lesson, I realized I want to do something different. So I'm going to start a new shout it out. This one comes up on here. And the way that we also can use this is just as a blank one. It hasn't got categories. So can you just now send up anything that's in a wood? Anything at all. I'm just going to put in grass. Grass, apple, stones. Brilliant. Tree. Fantastic. So lots and lots of things that are coming in. That's good. Now, what I'm going to ask to do now I've got all these, Moss, you can see all these are coming in. I'm going to ask you to now put them in capital letters. But your answer for capital letters, I'd like you to see what titles could we have for these. So last time I categorized it into nouns, into adjectives, noun phrases. What titles do you think you want to put in here? But this time, can you make sure your titles come in with a caps lock on? So riddles, things to eat. So I can have that, I can have that. So these might be things to eat, I might put that on there. We can categorize this, we can have a conversation around these, but you're valuing everyone's ideas that might come in. I could actually turn I can't on this one. So I can put those ones there, and then we can categorize them and we can talk about that. So all these people's ideas that are being given are valid and being share of that. So that's that. How are we doing? We're using everybody's voice. We're making sure everyone's really important to this. And that's a really good way to do, just in the middle of the lesson from that as well. Trying to whiz through this, looking at going more of a slight level of math slant. Quick and easy game to make. This one is practicing the times tables, where I can practice them. Some of them I get right, some of them I get wrong, but I can have a go at that. Maybe they've got a worksheet, maybe they've got some counters if they're there, and then they're using this to practice with that one there. I made this within Smart Notebook. So something like this can be, you can keep that infinite clone. So I'm counting in sevens. So maybe I do this one first, where you can actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 13, 14. So I'm actually using that as a stimulus here. If I created this, I could change it to an individual handout. So let me just put all those back in there. Yes, they're not as neat as they first were. I can change this to individual handout. So now it's an individual handout. What it does, it gives you this lesson. So you can start counting in sevens. If you just click start, I'm going to jump into yours. And you can see that now you have got that, and you can start moving these within your activity and start counting in sevens yourself. And then if I gave you student control, you could go back and you could practice those sevens and see if you can get them right based on this here. And then you can see that you're dragging these out and playing with that one there. Let's see if anybody else is doing it. So let's jump into Brenda's. Brenda's yet to get going with that. Maybe you can be using the ink at the side to make the annotations of 7, 14, 21 along there as well. So I can just kind of see you are working through those as a teacher side of it as well. I've got another shout out there. I think I'll leave those few. That's the flip cards. So this one here, as another kind of example of trying to give the students that stimulating work and give it to them, we've got a flip out chart. So here I could have just some maths problems, but on the next page is where I want you to write the answers. So I've got this one here, click on, I can add a blank page. This one I can change to an individual handout. I know I'm whistling through all of this and there's lots and lots of stuff, but the same way as before, if we put the last one as an individual handout and then you've got the questions here and put it on student paste as opposed to teacher paste, then actually I can send out these questions to them and they can be answering those on there, whether it's numbered or question marks, whether we've got an image or trying to calculate the area of a cylinder, for example, or they're more of a simpler maths problem like that. But those can be then sent out to those. But a great way of giving the students that bit of choice, rather than just saying do that one and that one. Actually, these could be moved around and you could put little clues on the front or little pictures and they could choose which one. Maybe you're doing, you've read a book and then there's different ways to respond to it. Is it making a video about something in the book? Is it writing a book review? Is it a character description? So all of these could be on here with a little question mark, and then it's really that student choice, getting them to be part of that learning and being engaged with it. Again, that self-worth and that valuing of it. So I'm just going to jump out now and I'm going to highlight a lesson that we've got on our Smart Exchange. So if you just search for Smart Exchange, then it's an online bank of resources. There's loads of useful things like squared paper and different things like that, which are resources, but there's also full lessons made by teachers that are shared on there. Obviously you can share those as well, but there's also a lot of content that we've worked with external providers as well to try and get that quality stuff on there as well. I'm not saying that yours isn't quality. And we've worked with a company called Avid, and I've done a lot of work with the SLE curriculum and kind of that sort of side of things. And this is one of the lessons on here. I'm just going to, I'll leave this running at the end just so we can all kind of see different versions of this. So for this one, I'm just going to put it on student paste. So now if you want to go up and down the lessons, you can, or feel free to look at the ones up on here. So it's simple ones like, I'm going to take another teacher copy because you haven't started yours yet, but that's fine. Simple ones like this one here. how are you feeling today? And you've got to move the pointer along there or respond with some text on here. It's really making a focus of how are you feeling? And it's okay to be feeling, please help me. It's okay, I've got a few questions, or I've got this, it's fine. And maybe you want to have some why questions about that as well. Or just do on a more scale of 1 to 10, very, very similar kind of approach with that. It's checking your understanding halfway through. How are you doing today? Making sure that you're addressing the social needs, not just have I achieved my learning objective, color code or color code it. It's how have I achieved my well-being target, color code those. And it's okay to be on any of those. So it's just highlighting that fact. I'll just jump into the student teacher handout for this one as well. This was another good one that I've looked at. So we've got different ones. Rate your group. How are we doing the group work? How are we doing with the team effort? How are we doing? How are we listening and opinion? What's your dream team? What does that look like? What is your talent? How have you contributed to this group? So it's that reflection. We're all really good at reflecting on our learning on the curriculum side of things. But now that the social emotional things are coming to the forefront, it's the same principles that are applying to that. Highlight them. It's okay to be not good at something. English was never my forte subject, but I knew that. Maybe talking to people wasn't somebody's forte, and that's fine. But just to kind of discuss it and get that mental understanding, if you like. This one here. So this was a group work activity. I'm just going to put you all in one team for this. That's okay. And it'll just convert that into here. So this one here is a check-in chart. How are we feeling today? Today has been the best day ever. And you can have a star for everybody. And obviously just explain that these are the ones. I'm just going to put everyone on this page now. So your team, your page now has jumped onto this page halfway through the lesson or at the end of it. How are we feeling today? I'm fine. I'm struggling. And you can generally see that consensus of everybody without actually asking them or just saying, it's a bit like a thumbs up, thumbs down from the lesson. How are you feeling today? I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like this. How are you? And then you kind of scan the room. But it's just another way of looking at that. And then students can move their stars into different places. So like I said, on that Smart Exchange here, and you can see there's lots and lots of different examples of all of these. I won't jump you off where you were. And you can see some of you are moving stars on there. It's worth having a look on the Smart Exchange at some of that Avid content. If you just type in self, then or SLE, SEL, sorry, you'll be able to see some of those bits like this, or even something like this. Where do we agree? I think I disagree with it. I think I don't disagree, and it's absolutely fine to be, or actually someone's being in the middle today, and we can move those dots. A lot of this content was made within Notebook rather than making it on Smart Learning Online. So this one here would just be an infinite clone when we do that on there. So I've kind of done a massive whistle stop over lots and lots of different bits of pieces that hopefully have been useful for an idea and kind of got it into our mindset that SLE is going to be really important, is really important, and that the smart board and smart software has got some different things to support you with that as well. So I'm just going to jump into that question. I like starting with a timer. Where's it from? In the gallery. Yes, the gallery, the timer at the beginning. I'll just jump back up to the top and show you this one. So this timer here was in the gallery. I would suggest updating to the latest version of Smart Notebook. If you are on a very old version, the timer might look different and it might not quite work as well. We are in Smart Notebook 19 as of 2 or 3 day time. We are releasing Notebook 20, so feel free to go and download that. I'll probably splash it all over social media when we've got the official release for that as well. So at the side here, the gallery. Within the gallery here, interactive and multimedia. You can just search for timer. It is called, just get the exact wording, it is called timer for that as well, but there's lots of other things as well as customizable dice, spinners and stuff like that. That random object search selector, that was from the Smart Exchange, so feel free to get that one. And then I've just drag and drop that into there and saved it into my content as opposed to in the gallery, which has got lots and lots of different pieces in like that. So that's good. So yes, that's in the gallery. Just as a quick ask, this is going to be our last one before we all break up for summer. Woo! Or I carry on working. But what I would really appreciate from yourselves is a bit of feedback from these sessions to help us when we start back up in September or late August. How can I best facilitate you? Is the time right? Is it okay to be 20? I've gone over 25 minutes. Would you like it shorter? Would you like it longer? Would you like some different topics of conversation, or is it just all fine, carry on going as you are? But I would massively appreciate any feedback. It's a bit.ly link, so bit.ly/smart in capital letters, online training feedback, and I'd really appreciate your kind of feedback on any of this. It's only a very quick, short form. As I said, I'd really appreciate that. But so that's the kind of request side of things, but your challenges to share. What are you worried about in September? What are you looking forward to? I think social media is a great place to say, look how amazing I am. But equally, it's beginning to turn where actually I need support with this. I'm worried about this. And then that's that community. And like I said, I was a smart exemplary educator, and that community was key for me to learning lots of new things and to share other ideas with that as well. If you are interested about becoming a smart exemplary educator, reach out to me, send me an email, reach to me on Twitter, search for Smart Exemplary Educators, and we'll kind of have that conversation with that as well. So I can't see any more questions popping up in the chat box. You're welcome for those there. If you do want to have a look online as well, there's some good resources shared on Smart Champion with the hashtag, or on the usual kind of feeds of that for that as well. So I'm going to hang around and answer any more questions that do pop up. If you do want more in-depth training, if you want me to come out to your school, I did actually come out to a school last week, and it was great to actually venture out. But obviously, if you do want me to set up a session like this, essentially it's a bespoke training package available for you, for your school, for your mat, whatever it might be. I'm more than happy to kind of support those with that as well. So I'm going to leave it open to questions, and I'm going to pop up and down to the chat box here. So if you want to, if they're all been asked, then thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you in September. Have a lovely break. If not, I'm going to stick and answer some of these questions. So I've got 2 questions in a QR in the question and answer. Apologies, I haven't looked in there yet. I'm going to jump over. Can you show how you do the contributed to that one? So how can I know who's contributed to the lesson within the Smart Exchange there? So this one here, we went up to, I clicked on the wrong button. Let's go back up to the stars on here. Where was the star one? There's so much of the stuff here that I thought, oh, I can look at that. That's great. I can look at that. That's great. Have a look on the Smart Exchange. I'll answer that question in a moment as well. So this one here and there. Let's just get everybody all on the same page. So I'm going to start this activity here. No, it was the group work, wasn't it? I wanted, not the handout. So it's not a handout, group work. Here we are. Resume, student progress. So this is my student version here, and this is my whole class one here. So if I move this star here, for example, into the purple, for the teacher version, it's come over here. If I, as a teacher, I click on that one, and I click on the little drop-down arrow, maybe it's just work for ink, because I've already made that object. For example, I've written on there, and I can click on the M, and the M is there. So that drop-down arrow, when they're adding new content, you can see who has done it by clicking on that little drop-down arrow, and that will answer that question about who has done what. If they're bringing in images, if they're bringing in text, if they're bringing in drawing, then you can see who has contributed for all of those. Super. What can we download from the Smart Exchange? The Smart Exchange, have I got a shortcut to it? I probably should have, nice and quick and easy, but I haven't. Smart Exchange, Google search just for the Smart Exchange, top one here. So on this here, there is loads of content available for you. There's lessons, there's, like I said, there's pre-made ones, there's different size paper, there's different resources and stuff like that. Some of them are made by people within Smart that were teachers. There's lessons up here. Essentially, it's just a resource bank. Some of these games are playable up on here, so you can just see they're kind of across here. In fact, they've got different tools like that. You can download that resource. As soon as you download it, it will be on your desktop, and then you can open it within Smart Notebook, or you can choose to save it straight to your Smart Learning Suite online file. If you're signed at the top there, that's also how to share a resource like that. Go and have a look. There's loads of stuff on it. It's really good, so go and have a look there. No, it's no problem at all. Caroline, you should show something in Notebook whilst you were talking about the timer. Yes, the Notebook, Smart Notebook is where I have the timer. The timer sits within the gallery at the side here and there. The gallery, so I can search online for items as well. So if I had timer, I'm not quite sure what timers are available on the Smart Exchange, but let's just have a look. Search for that. There's a smart timer here. I think this is more of a lesson. You can see there's age range and subjects on here. There you go, there's a lesson with a background on it. So there's a timer for that there, and then there's obviously the time of year, the Thanksgiving Pictionary for that as well. You're welcome, everybody. Thanks for your comments. They're much appreciated. But like I said, if you wish to actually give that full feedback, then obviously feel free to do that as well. Okay, I can't see any more questions coming through. So like I said, I'll hang around on here just to kind of support anything that does come through. There's one more. I know Smart Exchange, you said you can download. So with the Smart Exchange, you can download whatever you want. Maybe you're referring to this random object selector. Random object selector. Let's look for that one. Random object selector. Random object. Oops. Selector. Random object selector. It might be Flash based, so I might have had it. If you want that random object selector, you might have to go to the old version of Smart Exchange, the legacy one, or feel free to email me and I'll send you directly if it's not on it. Oh, I could just upload it. Maybe I'll upload it to the Smart Exchange this afternoon because it doesn't seem to be on here. No, it doesn't. I'll upload it this afternoon and put in object selector. Random object selector, and we'll put it on there. It's a good tool. I really like it. It just selects anything that's not locked within the screen to use that. How do we use it? I used to have it, but it doesn't work anymore. To be honest, I haven't tried it for a while. So maybe let's just have a go. Have I locked in everything? No, I haven't locked up. I haven't locked everything. So if I click go here, it selects all the things that are not locked. And then it says, this one we're going to look at. I click it again and it does that. So it does still work. So have another go. Can I get it to stop on the feedback one? Probably not. There we go. So that's on that one there. And then it's back to normal with all those there. Great. Right, I think I might say my final goodbye then. There's no other questions coming in. So again, feel free if you do want to, if I have missed anything, feel free to put it in put an email to me afterwards and I'll answer those there as well. Super. Thanks for that as well, Sean. Appreciate that. And I'll bow out. Have a fantastic summer. Well done for everything you've done this term. It's been an absolute amazing team effort from everyone in education. So give yourselves a big pat on the back, a big gin, and enjoy your summer. and hopefully be able to go somewhere and see something and a bit of stop before we kind of have to, I won't say roll up again because I'm not thinking about September yet, but enjoy the break, a well-deserved one. And again, thank you for joining, and I hope it's been useful. Any support I can be, please feel free to reach out, and we'll be in touch. So thanks again, and take care, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.